Assalamualaikum semua and welcome to another episode of Great People TV with me, Ben Ibrahim and Hana Ismail. And just want to say, Hana, Assalamualaikum, apa khabar? You look well, busy as ever, but you look well.
Thank
But
you.
look at my
Alhamdulillah.
Christmas present now.
How come I didn't get the shirt?
Tak, my friend gave me, a gift lah for Christmas.
So unfair, man.
I know. Don't worry, I'm working on that, and he gave me a great idea about how to cari sponsor untuk Great People t-shirts next year, so we can give it to all our viewers. But yeah, I think
Right.
it'll be a great gift, kan, for our viewers next year.
Yes, sure. Apa-apa pun jangan lupa untuk subscribe kami di Facebook dan juga YouTube dan juga our Instagram. Follow us di Great People TV. Seperti biasa kami menyajikan pelbagai sebenarnya konten menarik yang pastinya akan berikan inspirasi untuk anda lagi-lagi lah nak dekat tahun baru ni. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have a new resolutions and among them, how do I get thin? How do I get slimmer?
Kita semua nak kurus now. We all want to get skinny. But please like our Great People TV. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are definitely on Instagram. And we are growing by the numbers on Instagram as well. And don't forget, you stand a chance to win a prize at the end of this show. We have a giveaway. Stick around and stand a chance to win an AccuAnswer ISO 4-in-1 multifunctional blood glucose meter. AccuAnswer helping the challenge or fight against diabetes. Kanna?
Ya, betul tu. Jangan lupa untuk anda pastikan tunggu sehinggalah ke akhir program ini sebab kita akan berikan giveaway yang istimewa daripada AccuAnswer, alatan yang boleh memberikan dan juga monitor kesihatan anda.
That's right. So at the end of this show, stick around. We will be asking you all a question based on the interview today with our very, very special guest. And then if you get it right, you put your answer correct in the comments page, we will reward you with an AccuAnswer ISO 4-in-1 multifunctional blood glucose meter. But please, everybody, when you win, please check your Facebook messages. So we will send you a message to say that you have won, because no disrespect, we've sent a message to certain winners over the last few weeks, and the response was a bit slow. We had to chase. So please respond very quickly. Anyway, moving on to the big interview today, our final episode of 2021. Hana wants to get kurus. I don't know why, because Hana, you are so kurus. But a lot of people out there want to get skinny. We'd like to introduce our guest, the one and only celebrity fitness guru, Kevin Zahri. Kevin, Mr. Cameragenic himself. Apa khabar, Kev?
Very good, thank you, Ben. And Assalamualaikum, Hana. And selamat Hari Natal buat semua, and a very early 2022.
Right. Look, for those of you who don't know Kevin, I don't know where have you been, but Kevin is a trained engineer. Once upon a time worked for Proton, but his passion for getting people to be fitter, is his long life passion. He's a family man. He's written books. And I remember, he was asked to do many TV shows dulu, but as a friend, Kevin told me before, I don't like asking questions, I like answering questions. So tonight, Kevin is going to answer plenty of questions on how do we get fit. Not so much about getting skinny. So let's start our usual interview. Please, if you all want to ask questions, let you open your question in the comments field, and we'll ask it straight away. Like Kevin said to me in a WhatsApp, I don't have a structured format. I just go free and easy. So free and easy, Kevin. You mentioned that your programs, Kevin, on social media and your books and everything, it's not about being kurus. It's about being healthy. Okay? Because everybody seems to be obsessed about nak jadi kurus. Please elaborate, sir.
It's it's the stigma of nak kurus, and our program dulu was called Jom Kurus, because it's basically the desire of orang ramai. Everybody wants to be kurus cepat, kaya cepat, putih cepat, dan sebagainya, but it's not really practical or sustainable or achievable even. You'll never really be kaya. It's always going to be something that you kejar for the rest of your life. And it's the same thing with kurus as well. You never really be kurus, and it's not really the destination that you want to mencapai pun. So we call our program now Bukan Soal Kurus, which still gives people the idea that, like, hey, okay, you want to help me untuk mengurangkan berat badan, but it's not about kurus, because we've been doing our program for almost 10 years nationwide sudah. And when we always talk to the peserta yang berjaya mengurangkan berat badan or join the program, there's so many other faktor kejayaan which makes the program so beneficial untuk individu, keyakinan diri, the kecergasan, the strength, the feel-good factor, the mental health, kegembiraan as well. And they will never, even if they kurangkan, and we had amazing stories over the years yang have been covered by mass media of people losing 50 kilos, 60 kilos. We had individuals kurangkan 100 kilo berat badan, which was super inspiring. But even though they mengurangkan berat badan, they are not kurus. You know, categorically speaking, BMI mereka mungkin still dalam kategori yang berlebihan, but who cares? Because at the end of the day, it's not about kena mencapai BMI yang sempurna. Life is not sempurna. The best angka berat badan for anyone is suka hati kau. And the suka hati kau is a laungan or slogan in our program which is meant to empower diri seseorang to sort of mengambil ownership tentang kapal diri sendiri. So even before we went live just now, Hana was mentioning that perhaps mungkin mengurangkan berat badan di 2022, but then Ben said nak kurus macam mana lagi, because at the end of the day it's suka hati Hana to do whatever she wants to do, untuk mencungkil badannya untuk kepuasan diri sendiri. And kepuasan diri bagi seseorang yang berusia 20-an, 30-an, 40-an like Ben and I already, is different because it's a progressive journey kan. So yeah, the secret is out. Yeah, so no need to hide anywhere. So yeah, generally that's why we call our program Bukan Soal Kurus, supaya it can merangkumi and meliputi semua golongan masyarakat, especially since our program in our NGO, we work with schools and the ministries of education, health, and belia dan sukan. And for the kids, we don't want to go to a school and say, jom kurus, because the kids are growing and they should menambah berat badan walaupun they are perhaps dalam kategori obese sudah. So we call it Bukan Soal Kurus. To the even the schools know what we represent, but we are not wanting anyone to kurus pun. We want them to own the journey, enjoy the journey, and be able to sustain the perjuangan seboleh-bolehnya sepanjang hayat.
Right.
Okay. Saya sebenarnya sangat puas hati Ben dengan apa yang diberikan, jawapan yang diberikan oleh Kevin sebentar tadi. Sebab to take ownership kan, take ownership of your own health, your own size, itu sangat-sangat penting. Tapi rata-rata kita melihat ramai yang take ownership tu dengan cara yang salah. Macam tadi you cakap kan, instant. Banyak yang instant, nak kaya cepat, nak lawa cepat. Kenapa dengan mentality cepat ni? What is so wrong with this nak cepat punya mentality ni, Kevin?
Okay, I want to ask you, Hana, why do you say it's salah?
Because banyak juga I rasa approach untuk cepat ni, approachnya salah.
But why is it salah? What do you mean by it's salah? Now, salah is a istilah which is sentiasa dilaungkan. Ini salah, ni betul. Ini salah, betul. Diet salah, diet betul. Sama salah, betul. So, orang ramai cepat untuk conclude suatu perkara tu hitam or putih, right and wrong, halal and haram. Padahal there's so much grey area. So from your perspective, why do you say it's salah? And what specifically do you feel is salah?
Okay, saya tengok macam salah tu kan bila orang gunakan ataupun consume sesuatu yang boleh memberikan risiko terhadap kesihatan mereka. Contoh mungkin ambil sesuatu yang kata okay, kalau ambil minum ni boleh kurus cepat. Boleh kurangkan berat badan, contohnya tanpa memerlukan apa-apa mungkin ekstra senaman ke ataupun makanan yang sihat ke. Dan saya lihat sendiri macam mana benda tu telah pun merisikokan banyak kesihatan orang lain. Itu contoh saya lah, tapi tak pastilah mungkin itu salah pada saya.
Now, basically for us, we try to educate para pengguna. And our program tidak berasaskan mana-mana produk, which is important because we want to be able to educate orang ramai secara open. and be fair dalam membincangkan produk-produk supaya we always say boleh mengguna but jangan diperguna. So salah
Okay.
for me is not the mengguna part because produk tu tak haram pun, like fat burner, meal
Right.
replacement dan sebagainya. And pihak yang menjual berhak untuk menjual produk-produk mereka, tak salah. The
Hmm.
problem is for me, the problem is janji-janji yang melampau. And janji-janji yang melampau is
Ah.
this, this iklan-iklan yang menyembuhkan sakit sendi, menghilangkan benda ni, menyembuhkan ABC. So umpama this is like product ajak. That for me is salah kerana ia tidak melindungi pihak pengguna, and pihak pengguna perlu dilindungi. So that for me is always topik perbincangan dengan pihak yang berkuasa. You need to melindungi hak pengguna dengan maybe menghukum or penalize pihak yang oversell produk-produk. Kalau let's say the same iklan you put it in Europe or in the US, kena saman. You'll be sued
Hmm.
because you are over promising and over leveraging on things that are actually not proven in any way. But in Malaysia, the hak melindungi pengguna tu, pandangan saya is lemah. And that for me is something that we fight for, not to kacau periuk nasi si penjual, but melindungi periuk nasi si pembeli melalui educational value.
Wow. Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay. But Kevin, I mean, thanks for sharing all that. You spoke with great passion and great detail. Yeah, and like macam like and you were like tak marah Hana sangat lah. It was like kenapa salah Hana? Kenapa salah?
Tak,
No,
I
because
rasa
But
people
macam
are quick. People are
I
quick
tengah
to
ke train.
melontarkan salah, but then you have to define like what specifically is salah so that the person yang we are trying to go knows how to fix it. Because
Hmm.
kalau we are not specific dengan panduan ataupun nasihat yang diberi, then kita tak memperkasakan the individu untuk melakukan that perubahan.
right, right. Just want to elaborate for all our English-speaking viewers that Salah is
Ada.
not Muhammad Salah from Liverpool, but Salah is making a mistake. There's no such thing as something that is wrong, according to Kevin. What is what we define it, and like what Kevin was saying earlier in Malay, it was like it's what we want to make out of it. You know, suka
You
hati
know,
kita.
we have a saying in our program, Ben. In our program, we have this saying called "Don't follow anything anyone says, including whatever I say. Don't follow." And instead of following, we always advise individuals to listen, digest, and then make your own decision making, so that you are then in control of your own journey. Because in order for Hana to kurangkan berat badan contohnya, there are a thousand and a million ways to achieve it dengan senaman, no senaman dan sebagainya. At the end of the day, we want to empower Hana to sort of own this journey, understand what she needs to do, but Hana needs to make the journey somewhat luas and lebar supaya she can maneuver this journey throughout life, which has many ups and downs, and does not become a journey that is so rigid, so
And
narrow, so
narrow.
stressful, and then to the point where she will then give up. Now that is important
Right.
for us, which comes from, again, not following, because social media, it's easy to follow your favorite social media influencer in fitness dan sebagainya. And what followers do, they will ask the social media icon, what do you eat or what do you do? And then the social media guy or girl will then
Hmm.
tell this person what he or she does. But this influences life, balance, time management, and so forth is so different than the person who's asking the question. My
True.
life is very unique, so is Ben's and Hannah's as well. So if you follow someone else's life, it's not you. Kebarangkalian besar, you will not last very long. So we want to help our audience, especially in Malaysia, where they come from an educational system yang selalu spoon fed, follow and do and ikut, taat, setia. We want to take this teaching and perhaps make them own their own journey. Stop asking people for what you need to do. Figure things out dengan pelbagai program dan bahan pembelajaran, so that at the end of the day, you can be the one that can maneuver your journey. But orang ramai culturally budaya in Malaysia find it hard to sort of make their own decisions because they perlu ada restu daripada tok guru, restu daripada the coaches dan sebagainya. So hence this suka hati kau, suka hati aku sounds kurang ajar. It helps you to sort of own your life and move forward in any direction that it may take you.
No, but that's very true, Kevin. And sukahatika, aku mean, I mean, might sound a bit rough, but it's up to me. Like the English translation is up to me on what I want to achieve. So I just want to, based on that, and based on the point that you mentioned, digest. Like Kevin, when you get approached by clients, when you get approached by the workshops that you run with people over the years, I'm sure you say this a lot. Look, it's more of the diet versus the exercise. But where is a starting point in terms of that? I mean, people will always ask you, and I'm not going to ask you what is the percentage of diet versus exercise because we all know
Can I
it is.
can I can I ask you, Ben? Can I put you
Sure.
on the spot?
But
See, the great thing about fitness, nutrition, exercise, and dieting,
yeah,
everyone who's watching this has some kind of experience, some kind of understanding
mm,
of what they think they need to do based on slogans and listening and reading and all. And I'm sure everyone has heard of this pemakanan 80%, senaman 20% thing, or
yeah.
exercise, nutrition to 80%, and exercise is 20%. Let me ask you, Ben and Hannah, I'm putting you on the spot. Why is it 80 and 20? Why is it nutrition 80% and exercise 20?
Because okay, in my opinion, before I let Hannah answer, in my opinion, we grow up in a culture where we don't really embrace exercise and sport. We embrace three things: and F: family, food, and finance. Basically, what you said just now, Kevin. Finance, about nak jadi kaya, want to be rich. Food,
Kaya
everybody.
cepat, kaya semalam, kaya.
Everybody's always talking about food from the mi bandung and char kway teow from the other day to Penang to Kelantan to God knows where, and everybody's always. And why do we make good food? To bring family together. So where's the sukan? Where's the exercise? So I mean, and I know these are the kind of work that you're trying to do with the government, with KBS, and I see that you're doing a good job. So that's why, in my opinion, and I don't have any scientific proof or academic proof, is that
Yeah.
it's 80 because you look at our diet.
Yeah.
So,
You see,
is there anything
Ben,
healthy about our diet?
obesity is not a Malaysian problem. Obesity is a global problem.
Worldwide
I
problem.
I gave a TED talk
Mm.
recently on an episode called "Obesity: The Next Pandemic,"
Wow.
and obesity rates has quadrupled over the last 20, 30 years globally, not just among adults, but in kids as well. So it's not a Malaysian problem per se. It's a bigger problem here in Malaysia, but it's just a bigger problem in the US and other developed countries and developing nations as well. And the 80%, 20% ratio is the same anywhere you go. And now before I answer the question, Hannah, do you want to give it a shot?
Go na.
I don't know. I kind of agree with Ben actually because most of the time we eat, so that's why they put an 80% rather than
So,
20%
how
of
much do
working out.
you eat in a day,
Again, before I
calorie
let
wise,
Hannah.
Hannah? Just
Ben
Hannah,
actually
since
because most
Hannah
of
nak kurus
the time we
kan,
eat,
how many
so that's why
calories
they
do you
put
eat
an 80.
in a day? Agak-agak.
Sorry,
Repeat
How
the
many
question.
calories in a day do you consume per day? Just roughly. Just throw a number in.
satu hari berapa kali makan?
So, berapa calorie do you consume? How many
See, I
calories
don't even
do
count
you
my
consume?
calories.
No, agak-agak. You don't have to count, but you have to. See, you
Agak-agak.
don't have to count calories, but you have to
Okay.
understand calories because, like it or not, food is calories. Exercise, you burn calories. So it's not about counting calories, but it's about understanding how it works because that's the thing that you want to control. Now, Ben, you can throw in numbers in as well. How many calories does an average person consume per day?
400.
It's about 2,000 calories. This is
I
this
was
is
about
weight
to say
loss
5. Kalau
101,
I
guys. That weight loss 101 right now. 2,000 calories a day is the average number of calories that the person consumes per day. How many calories? And if you have a smartwatch that you use when you exercise, how many calories do you burn in an hour of exercise, roughly speaking?
Based on what you said, 600.
let's say 500, easy math. So it's, if you really go out, you zumba peluh melayang sejam, you will burn about 500 calories in an hour. And let's say you consume 2000 calories per hour. The ratio of 2000 to 500 is basically 4 to 1, 80-20. This is why nutrition is
Oh,
80% of the journey versus exercise, because you eat, like Hana said, pagi, siang, dan malam. Let's say in this case 2000 calories, but you exercise an hour a day. If you do it, is about 500 only. That's why the ratio is 20 to 80. Food controls the success or quote unquote failure of the kurus journey so much more dramatically versus senaman alone.
I
Mhm.
see.
Interesting.
Okay. Interesting. Barulah saya tahu kenapa kita bahagikan portion dia sebegitu, 80% dan 20%, eh. Oh, okay.
So,
Everything has, don't follow anything anyone says. It's always good to menghayatinya. I was checking out Hanas's Instagram just before coming on air, and you seem to be doing quite a lot of spiritual things as well. Yeah, in Islam, kan? So in Islam, we believe that it's better to menghayati pengajaran yang diberi daripada just ikut membuta
Digesting
semata-mata.
it. Yes.
Right.
Betul, betul.
yeah. But where do you start, Kevin, with all your in your workshops with all your customers, your clients? Where do you start? Okay, you explain the calories, you explain the ratio and everything like that, but where is for Malaysian diet? Yeah, we're not talking about fish and chips diet. Malaysian diet. Where do you ask them to start to potong certain things? You know,
There's nothing wrong with the Malaysian diet. People always cuba salahkan makanan Malaysia. I eat very Malaysian. I'm sure Ben eats very Malaysian.
betul.
Hana eats very Malaysian. Whatever para penonton makan is the same thing that I eat. I have nasi lemak ayam goreng berempah as well. I have Nescafe tarik, air manis, buah, cekodo. I eat just as comot. I don't want to call it dirty. Now, I don't eat clean. This whole philosophy of eating clean is a stigma of social media that is not practical. Nobody really eats clean. Melainkan perhaps the 0.0001% of this world yang are super educated. Majority people don't eat clean. It's not practical. Now the idea is janganlah makan kotor pula. The idea is moderation. Wasatia kau. Something yang
Hmm.
is somewhat something grey in the area, where you have pilihan yang baik, pilihan yang kurang baik, because this pilihan yang kurang baik gives you sanity, gives you kegembiraan, happiness, to makan benda yang make you happy, but the makanan yang sihat tu lebih mengenyangkan mungkin. So an understanding of what is good choice, what is not so good a choice, as piece and parcel of your journey tu penting, so that then you can membina plan pemakanan yang sesuai dengan hati jiwa you, sesuai dengan matlamat, kurangkan, kekalkan berat badan seseorang, dan nombor tiga, sesuai dengan tempat tinggal geografi Kelantan ke, Sabah ke, fish and chips UK ke, apa ke, because at the end of the day you want to enjoy the makanan that you are, makanan ruji seharian.
Mhm.
Nasi is not the problem. Milo is not the problem. You can makan minum Milo every single day. I can guarantee you it's not the reason why you're gaining weight. You can makan nasi lemak every single day if you want to, but it's not the sole reason that you are menambah berat badan. Penambahan berat badan is because of the keseluruhan pilihan makanan seharian versus your active lifestyle. So if your lifestyle is not active, it's hard to then manage the calorie intake, because the calorie that you intake is umpama pengisian minyak kereta you. If you fill in the car with too much fuel, but you don't move the car as much as it should, your tangki minyak will start to membesar, and our tangki minyak is lemak lah. So to reverse this scenario, you have to understand keperluan minyak seharian tu berapa. Long story sebenarnya. And then basically make sure that pengisian minyak tu is less than what the car needs, so that the car can then take the deficit yang tak cukupnya from the tangki minyak untuk then mengurangkan berat badan. That's generally what we teach. in our NGO corporate programs online and all, which takes usually about half a day program to sort of make an individual understand how much minyak do I need, because bigger car, small car dan sebagainya all berbeza-beza, jantina, usia semua memainkan peranan. But once you have an understanding of how much energy your body needs, then you can membina plan pemakanan untuk maklumat yang sewajarnya, but you should have moderation dalam setiap pilihan pemakanan. So this whole thing about kosong gula, kosong this, kosong ini, it sounds great on social media, kau, but it's not realistic in real life. And we always tell our peserta, what you write on paper has to be as realistic as what you do in real life. Kalau on paper is green tea and salmon and steamed this and broccoli, this is not real, bro. You are not going to do this, and you always feel like a failure because what you're doing does not reinforce your plan. So this plan on paper needs to reinforce what you do day in and day out, so that it can reinforce your journey and you are in control. Cakap
Right.
senang, I know that is the key in my opinion.
So I'll just ask one question before I pass it back to Na. So Kevin, like one thing that I admire about I go to your Instagram a lot, and I'll be honest, I go to your Instagram and I see all those guys, young, really besar besar, and girls as well, like who are really big, and then they went through your program, and then like they play dodgeball, they play basketball, whatever, and then in a matter of months, they have lost a good portion of weight. In your coaching, and I mean, tell us what we don't see on Instagram. What, how did they get there?
What you don't see, it's a lot struggle, and the biggest struggle for those individuals is the mental challenge. That is the biggest and most underrated component of usaha sesiapa tu mengurang kawal berat badan, because every day they have to face diri sendiri in the mirror, and even if they lose 50, 60, 70 kilos, which is super amazing, when they look at themselves in the mirror, they still see the older version of themselves, and they struggle mostly dengan diri sendiri, and their success is their success. We don't take credit from their success, because it is their usaha to swap makan hari-hari, to get up and do the things. The biggest problem that I kadang-kadang lihat is that they invest everything into menjayakannya secepat mungkin, and many of them wear out. They just run out of steam, because what they are trying to do is so difficult, dengan kawalan makanan yang sangat ketat, dedikasi senaman yang begitu hebat, but at the end of the day, they find it hard to continue because it's so stressful. And a lot of these diets on social media that always make rounds, like your Atkins and your keto and your IF and all those diets, nothing wrong with them, but because they're very difficult, no carbo, jangan makan ni, it complicates things. Ramai of them struggle to sustain it. And the key to success in anything in life, whether it is great people, television, or weight management, family, financial management, it's not about success in the short term. It is really about sustaining things for jangka masa berpanjangan. But to make things sustain for jangka masa berpanjangan, you have to pace yourself and give time to the journey to play its role. But a lot of these success stories, like you mentioned, many of them don't want to take their time. They want to do things secepat mungkin, and we cannot force them to slow it down. It's hak individu, suka hati kau. We just advise like a teacher would. At the end of the day, the student would need to menterjemahkannya buat diri sendiri, because it is hak individu.
Now,
Sebenarnya saya pun nak kongsi juga dengan Kevin, sebab saya pun in a way for the past few months I've struggled with a diet plan that I wanted to do, because previously I rasa mungkin ini salah satu journey untuk I discover apa yang terbaik untuk diri I juga. Saya pernah try keto diet. I cannot stand keto diet. Jujur tak boleh. Saya dah cuba. Saya pernah juga try GM diet. Saya pernah
Yeah.
cuba GM diet pun saya tak boleh juga. And I realise that saya rasa setakat ini yang saya boleh adalah only fasting. That's the
Yeah.
best thing that I can do according
Puasa, you
to.
buat puasa
Saya
Islam
buat
or the
puasa biasa. Saya
intermittent
buat puasa
fasting? Sorry?
Islam yang biasa.
Okay.
Initially, I nak buat intermittent fasting. Tapi I rasa alang-alang I nak buat intermittent fasting. Might as well I just fast secara regularly. Secara
Yeah.
biasa sahaja. Sebab I perasan, I am not as active. Sebab most of the time, bila I keluar bekerja, I'm already worn out. I rasa macam I don't have enough time for me to work out. Jadi bila saya rasa macam okay lah, fasting is the best thing. Tapi of late, I perasan maybe, I know probably because it's post jab ke, post vaccination ke, I rasa macam susah
Ingat
juga untuk I berpuasa.
postnatal kan.
Post jab I think. I tak tahulah. Maybe it's post vaccination, I find myself craving to eat more. So bila dengan
Yeah.
craving kat situ, saya rasa macam saya nak kena kurangkan berpuasa pula. So
Yeah,
itu yang saya
my
tengah
advice
struggle untuk
to
mencari diri
you,
saya.
why don't you join our program? Our program is starting on the 15th of January. It's 100% virtual program. So there's no commitment to go physically anywhere, especially during this COVID-19 situation. We would welcome you, Hana, to join the program pro bono. Yeah, no
Yay!
strings attached.
Wow,
Yeah,
way.
you're not obligated to post anything, which we do with a lot of the celebrities who join our program as well, because we believe in what we represent. And once you do get the benefits of it, naturally you will probably share it anyways with your audience. Tapi there is no need for it. But yeah, please let me know. Reach out to me after the session today, and then we can hook you up.
Great. I've always wanted my own star train.
But
Alhamdulillah.
Kevin, I'm sure you get this question a lot, bro. How much money do I need at the start of a diet? Because I think I remember seeing your Instagram post and you spoke about transaction and how much you want investment needed and what's realistic and what's not. But as a general rule of thumb, because the perception, like you said, of people is that okay, I'm going on a diet. I need to clean up my fridge. I need to buang all the gula, the high carbs, roti, rice, all that, and I need to change. I need to start drinking water instead of syrup or Coke or Sprite or all those soft drinks. And I need to buy all these healthy vegetable. I need to makan salad. Sometimes not Caesar salad because Caesar salad is very rich, but they need to just makan healthy, which is expensive, and some people can't afford it. So, what's your views on money needed, investment needed to make changes?
Yes.
Let me tell you a story about nelayan or kerja buruh. Does nelayan or kerja buruh bermasalah berat badan? No,
Nah,
they don't struggle with masalah berat badan. Do they eat clean keto Atkins dan sebagainya? No,
no.
they eat as merepek as they can dengan amount makanan yang setinggi-tinggi lauk nasi dan sebagainya.
Yeah.
And it's not a question of money, it's a question of quantity makanan versus your lifestyle. Yeah. So if you are as active as a nelayan whose very physical nature of work is umpama senaman 8 jam sehari, and they burn in a day maybe 10,000 calories just like that because it's always physical in nature. It's not a question of how much money they spend because they have the luxury of makan sesuka hati. But if you're an average working professional, like everyone here ke barang kalian besar, you can eat a very normal Malaysian diet, like I do as well. I don't have fancy quinoa salad at home or salmon hari-hari or kale and all. You can makan sawi and kangkong just as fine as well. And mamak pun is not punca masalah. It's always something sihat that you can eat at the mamak, like telur rebus, taduri dan sebagainya. So the cost in generally is not a factor. It's really about making educated purchasing decisions. that suit the individual. Because of the lack of pemahaman, the lack of perhaps asas fundamental understanding, ramai
Hmm.
orang menganggap perlu makan quinoa, broccoli, rice and cauliflower nasi dan sebagainya, which does not
Yes.
solve their problem to begin with.
Yeah, because
Betul. And betul Ben, I agree. And keto is expensive ya.
mahal, mahal.
Mahal. Mahal, ya Allah, mahal gila. Okay, cakap pasal tadi you katakan kita kena faham badan kita sebenarnya. Macam until now I think I'm still struggling to know the best for my body, and I believe it's the same for you as well, Ben. What works for you? What is best yang works for you? So nak tanya dengan you lah, Kevin, berapa lama sebenarnya journey untuk kita faham badan kita ni, untuk kita tahu what's the best not just diet lah, what's the best health plan untuk diri you? Berapa lama nak tahu, nak kenal, nak belajar ni?
It's a lifetime commitment. It's not something that you should put maybe a limit to it. Not like
Mhm.
our program is 8 minggu. So fine, you can start with an 8-week program dulu just to build a fundamental asas. But really, as you go along the journey of life, you will continually add on things that you encounter through this roller coaster we call life, tentang pemakanan, senaman. So you will learn, what senaman works for you, which one you don't really enjoy, which you do enjoy, which sport you like, which sport you dislike, which diets seem to be okay. Like you said, you've tried keto, doesn't really work, the GM diet doesn't really work, the puasa thing may work now, may not work long term. So it is a continuing journey to figure out a balance that suits the individual. And even like me, what
Hmm.
my balance in my 20s, 30s, and 40s now is always different, because we are always evolving from
Hmm.
a health perspective. We are evolving from a lifestyle perspective. No kids, with kids, COVID, no COVID, lockdown. So the life is always very organically changing. So as the lifestyle changes, lifestyle choices, nutrition and exercise change as well. I cannot, like, for example, being in my 40s right now, exercise wise, recovery takes a lot longer than perhaps in your 20s. So I have to be more vigilant in what exercises I do so that I avoid the risk of injury. So
Hmm.
it's a lifetime commitment, and it's a journey that you should enjoy dengan bergeloranya ups and downs, because without the lows of life, like many of us are going through right now, perhaps with COVID and all, without going through the lows in life, you don't appreciate the highs. If your life is good, 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 you bosan pula. So the lows teach you about bersyukur in many, many ways, blessings that we have. And with health is the same. If I always tell our peserta yang bermasalah berat badan, yang have triple digit weights and all, I always tell them that the fact that you are here right now is an amazing opportunity for you to do something for yourself. Because cuaca you cannot control, politik negara you cannot control, COVID you cannot control. But kesihatan diri secara umumnya is in your hands, whether you nak ke tak nak. And if you nak, that's the first thing. I cannot paksa you to do something. But if you nak that change, then the next step is to find out what you need to do, the knowledge part, and then try and experiment with things. But it is a kurnia. If you berdepan, and this is sponsored by who again?
Okay,
Sorry?
you answer.
Like you answer.
AccuAnswer. Now, if you have diabetes or you have high blood pressure or you have cholesterol or you have gout, we always call this kurnia in disguise. Why is it a kurnia in disguise? Because it's a wake-up call, like a loceng, a ringing, the
Hmm.
giving you an opportunity to make a change now before perhaps it is too late. So use the kurnia yang diberikan, including your blessings, for the betterment of diri sendiri, because the journey of health, me, Ben, and Hana, and our audience is all very uniquely different.
Right, right.
Masya
And
Allah.
what about exercise, Kevin? I mean, I know that, like you said, it depends on someone's lifestyle. Kalau dia usahawan or CEO, they're very busy. They work 16 hours a day. They probably don't have the mentality to exercise at night, they probably say, okay, I go bike riding on the weekend, but I eat
Mhm.
more, I eat more nasi lemak and teh tarik when I stop, when I cycle with
Yeah.
my buddies. That's what I notice on on the cycling group. Tapi, I mean, some people say running is bad for you because it's bad for your knees. Okay, so again, your opinion for just generally across the board, what is a good exercise that will burn those calories
Yeah.
and also not injure yourself so that you can achieve your suka hati aku goals of being fitter?
Yeah. Let me ask you both a question. Are you burning calories?
Macam
Are
you
you
host.
burning calories right now?
Say again?
Are you burning calories right now? Sitting here watching this or being engaged in this dialogue, are you burning calories
Yes.
right now? Yes
Yeah.
or no?
Usually I sweat from my ketiak, to be very honest.
No, but
Because
do
like,
you burn calories? Yes or no?
I think so. Yes.
Hannah?
I think I am.
Yeah. So you burn calories all the time, no matter what you do. Even clip mata pun, burns calories as well. Now, talking about exercise real quick, just to run through the basic FAQ of Senaman. The
Mm.
best exercise is variety and kepelbagaian, so that your body always gets, different kinds of catalysts, and you keep it interesting and it's fun. The best time to exercise is when you have time. That is really a subjective thing to the individual's overall life. Duration of senaman, my opinion, should not be longer than sejam. And must you exercise? Hukum senaman untuk kurangkan berat badan tak wajib. So even if you are so busy, like what the usahawans are dan sebagainya, it's not an obstacle for you to kawal berat badan. You can still mengawal berat badan tanpa senaman, because there are people, Ben and Hana, who are maybe even watching this, yang tidak berkebolehan to bersenam because of pelbagai faktor kesihatan dan sebagainya, and they also need some kind of way untuk mengawal keadaan. So not being able to exercise is not an obstacle, but I would not recommend bersenam hari-hari.
Okay.
Every day
Mm.
bersenam. You mentioned like Salah earlier. The more they play, the more they are prone to get injured, because
Injury.
Right.
the recovery and the risk
Mm.
factors involved with it. So it's really important, especially as you get older. That's why the older footballers need more time to recover in between games and sebagainya. So even for me now, I'm more vigilant and a lot more self-aware of what I can and cannot do to prevent injury. So if I go to I go for, the high intensity interval training workouts. I play football as well. I play lots of sports as well. But I have to manage the risk, because I don't want to risk getting injured. Because once I get injured, the recovery and then the depression and tak boleh bersenam dan sebagainya is not something I want to deal with. So individual needs to learn to say no if they are faced with a scenario that may risk injuries unnecessarily. Every senaman is risk for injury. Even biking yang jauh-jauh pun, lubang besar je, pak jalan accident, masalah besar, because risk of falling is always going to be there. Dodgeball pun ada risk of kecederaan as well. There is no Without risk there is no reward, but risk management is really important, especially as you get older. My grandfather in Germany, he died when he was 86. Never really exercised sports wise, but always walking. Europe, they walk a
Mm.
Yeah.
lot. And
Brisk
my grandfather used
walking.
to
Mm.
walk every day to his kedai kopi and all dan sebagainya. But one day he fell. He fell in the shower, and that one fall just ruined the quality of his life in his 80s, and that was his downfall, both physically and mentally. So the biggest thing is, we always tekankan, jangan cedera hanya demi satu sesi senaman. It's not worth it. The coach
Mm.
that you hire, and Hannah, once you join our program, you will be with really
Can't
amazing
wait.
coaches. They will all go like, "Go Hannah, go! You can do it. One more rap. Keep going, keep going." Because that's that they feel that's their job, to
Mhm.
push you and motivate you, but they don't know what's really going on inside of you
Yeah.
physically. So if you cannot go, and you need to know when you cannot go. That's why you have a heart rate monitor dan sebagainya, sort of tell you when the RPM is a little bit too high, so that you can
Mm.
sort of self gauge when you can or cannot go. When I go to the gym and they know it's Kevin Zahri is there, they feel they have this urge to push me to beyond my limits because they want to give me the best workout of my life. So I have to manage them and tell them, and my heart rate now is so and so. I gotta take it easy as well, and they appreciate it because they feel pressured juga to
Mm.
try and motivate you sepanjang masa. But as an individual, no matter what sports you play, you need to know what you can and cannot do.
Okay. Sebenarnya bila kita berbual dalam beberapa minit ni kan, I kind of like your take tau on health, and I think it's very spiritual in nature, which is something I think Muslim takes for granted sebab rezeki untuk sihat tu pun perlukan usaha, and it makes me wonder sebenarnya how you actually got into this line of work tau. What's your big why? Macam I currently, my big why is I don't want to spend money to buy new clothes. I just want to keep wearing my same old clothes sampai dah dia barai. You know,
Mm.
what's your big why in jumping into this?
Big
Helping
why,
people.
yeah.
What's your
My
big
big
why?
why, my big why.
Good question.
Hmm. I came from a I'm half German, half Malay. My Malay side is from Johor. Hi Johorians, and all
Dia semua
besar-besar.
sekampung eh?
You know, besar-besarnya. And when I grew up, whenever we had perjumpaan hari raya, and all they talk about is makan, 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 makan. And one hari raya when I was 15, I remember this. My uncle, he told me, so I was never obese. I was always normal active child. And he told me, Kevin, one day you will be like us. Sekarang kau kurus muda boleh lah. So in my head, I was thinking it's not because of Baker. It's because of there's no balance. It's just food all the way without any, exercise or lifestyle that accompanies it. So that was my early motivation to sort of prove them wrong in a
Hmm.
way that it's not factor Baker, it's lifestyle choices. And in our
Hmm.
program, Ramai come into the program with membesar obese. We have one story from a lady named Mahira. She was her whole life she just knew herself as obese. Daripada bangku sekolah rendah, she was big, like besar. And psychologically, she was told that, kau memang berbaka gemuk. And she joined our program. She lost 40, 50 kilos. And her journey was all about proving it's not about baka. The baka gives you your rangka tulang, but at the end of the day, it's how you mengisi that rangka with lifestyle choices that is everything. And as Ben mentioned, I am mechanical engineer by profession,
Hmm.
and I went to the US after Form 5, and I was always competing in sports throughout life in Germany, in Malaysia. Came to the US, I was quite small, built physically, and the Americans start really early with their fitness training in high school. So when I played football and other sports against the Americans, they were physically so much stronger. And I started fitness training in a university in the US. And because my mindset is very much like an engineer, I question the why, the how, the where, why I have to do this. So I question a lot of things for me personally in terms of fitness and nutrition, that it was easy to apply it to myself. So I did it for 1 year untuk diri sendiri. Then my friends started asking me, what do I do to go from like chikading to something else within that 1 year. And because
Hmm.
I understood what I did based on my engineering punya,
Background.
SOP
Process.
manual, I started helping my friends to do the same. And yeah, one
Hmm.
thing, one thing led to another.
Wow, okay. Because I know a few Germans tau Ben, yang memang asalnya engineer. I know one engineer who end up as a baker. Ha.
There you go.
There you
See?
go. There you go. Food for thought, nah?
Okay.
Food for thought. But
Food
look,
for thought.
Kevin, we're coming towards the. I mean, I'm almost finished with my questions. Basically, if Hannah wants to ask some more, go ahead. I know Hannah is very excited. She's looking forward to her 15th of January program.
No, you
But
should join too, Ben.
yeah, I do
Yeah,
need
Because you
you're
were
welcome. Let's
complaining
please,
last time
please
when we
join.
were in the event during
Mhm.
Shafi Abdal. You complaining, you know what? I need to get back in shape lah, Anna.
Yeah, yeah. I need sexy dad bod. But Kevin, I mean, like in terms of you mentioned, thank you for mentioning AccuAnswer, our sponsor just now. But if you could just shout out the answer to this question to AccuAnswer, just say this is for AccuAnswer, and then you can answer the question. Answer the question. But in terms of diabetes, like you said just now, you can eat nasi lemak a lot, you can drink the Milos of this world a lot. It's just how you balance it. But I mean, you and I mean, we're in our 40s, but like in today's generation, the children are facing much more health challenges, even though medicine is more advanced. Okay, so what's your advice for people? I mean, for AccuAnswer, because AccuAnswer does help read your glucose levels, so you can know, okay, where you stand against diabetes, give or take. So, what's your AccuAnswer answer in terms of people, in terms of fitness, in terms of dieting, how to, like you said, not overkill, suka hati aku, but at the same time, be wary that diabetes is out there and it's quite nasty. So how do you manage and maneuver that, if that makes sense?
So it depends really on what diabetes that you have, whether it's diabetes type 1 or type 2. Type 1 is the one that maybe you're born with it. It is part of your genetics where your body cannot produce the insulin to break down your blood glucose. And then there's the type 2, which is kadang-kadang self-induced, where it is related to obesity and lifestyle choices, where your body just does not want to break down the sugar anymore and cannot tell insulin what to do. So it depends on which one you have. In either case, if you have type 1 especially, it's super important. And I grew up with family members who have type 1, and they have to be more vigilant in terms of managing carbohydrate, sugar sources when they eat, because that's a different story. Talking about weight management and diabetes is not always the same thing. It depends on the individual who is facing those particular problems. If you have type 2, you still have to manage the sugar carbohydrate intake in general. Does not mean you eat kosong, but it just means you have to be more educated and aware about different types of carbohydrate choices, whether it is white bread or brown bread, high glycemic index or a lower glycemic index, which is again something that will help to mempengaruhi how cepat or slowly the glucose will enter your bloodstream. Um, and also be aware that if you have type 2 and it's related to lifestyle choices, including obesity, the solution partially is change of lifestyle. Hence, we talked about it earlier, is the kurnia in disguise. To be aware of you have this, precursor or pre-diabetes maybe warning. And yes, as much as you can take medication and tools to measure the blood sugar levels, it's really important to then find mechanisms to prevent it from getting worse or reoccurring by making educated and sustainable lifestyle choices. Cutting sugar 100% is not sustainable. What is sustainable is moderation, wasatiyah, and basically making more educated choices by perhaps choosing better sugars. Brown sugar, white sugar is the same thing. There is nothing special about brown sugar per se. Brown bread, white bread, brown bread is better if you are diabetic because the brown sugar is loaded with fiber. Fiber acts like a roadblock creator where the glucose is there, but it cannot really get out because the fiber is there blocking the way to enter the bloodstream. So the fiber will just allow the sugar to release slowly into the bloodstream, which helps people with diabetes to manage its level sustainably. So education is key. Preventive measures are great. Medication is out there as well, but don't depend on medication solely to sort of solve the problem. You have to tepuk dada diri and educate yourself to sort of make that change for yourself. Not that you will live forever, but that you can live a happy and quality filled life as you get older. As much as Ben wants a sexy dad bod now, when you are in your 60s, the whole thing about a sexy bod is no longer really relevant, but you do want to play your basketball. You do
Yes,
want to play with your grandchildren. You
betul.
do want to be active. You do want to go hiking and do things in the golden years. But that needs to start as early as possible, in life, so that you can sort of avoid unnecessary injuries, knee and this and obesity. Obesity just burdens the joints all the time by having to carry a larger weight, including your back as well. So make it sustainable so that you can deal with things as they come. But last thing, Ben, sorry,
Okay.
as we age and the engine gets older, more and more things will start to creep up. Your cholesterol, your diabetes, gout, high blood pressure, arthritis. That is just piece and parcel of aging, wear and tear. That again we have to be aware of. I have to be aware of. Hence, a lot of these problems start later in life. But as Ben and I will know, life moves on fairly quickly. And Hannah, you are now 18, 17. Yeah. You
No,
know,
I'm
you,
already in my 30s, but Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, yeah. So just in the blink of an eye, you are looking at 40s. And a lot of
Yeah,
people in our age always talk about, how fast the years went by,
Yeah.
how
true.
quickly suddenly you are. I'm 43. Ben, you are my age, Ken. I
Yeah,
think about the
78.
same.
We're both 1978. Yeah.
78. Ken. Honestly, it just flew by.
Yeah.
And I have
Yeah.
so many of my friends who are physically in bad shape. Why? Because they took it for granted when they were younger, either by
Mm,
not doing anything or doing too much. Because doing too
mm,
much blows out your knees, your joints, your back, and they regret the choices perhaps that they could have done better when they're younger. You only given one life, and as much as possible, we want to take this life as far as possible, but with
mm.
enjoying a quality life supaya dia menjadi perjuangan yang menggembirakan.
And just a very quick answer, if you don't mind, Kevin. Why is it so important to, like, I mean, I was scared of, I'll be honest with you, I was scared of answer devices before because you had to prick your blood and, check your glucose level. But after a while, I saw the importance of it. Like you said, as we get older, like we have to be more aware of these things, especially for our children. But can you just tell our viewers why it's important to really check your glucose levels and your blood? I mean, like I use a device like AccuAnswer to maintain that health. Just quickly,
Yeah, no. I don't want to hard sell anything. I
yeah,
don't own
no worries.
a glucose measuring tool myself. I do go I do go for regular health checkups
Screening.
myself,
Okay,
like executive health screening, not just for glucose, but really everything and anything. Because even physically, we all might look okay on the outside, but
Mm,
internally, you don't know what's really
good.
going on. So it's really important to check your glucose levels, check your cholesterol levels, check various health parameters, maybe at least once every 2 years if
Yes.
you are younger, or maybe even once a year as you get older. And if you have the luxury or the need to purchase a tool that measures your glucose levels at home, yeah, on a day-to-day basis, especially if you are already pre or diabetes type 1 and type 2, then even more so power to you to have something that you can measure that with.
Okay. Okay. I'm done with my questions. Great answers. Now.
Same here. Sebenarnya pada saya satu pencerahan dan juga peringatan yang cukup-cukup baik dan bagus daripada Kevin Zahri mengenai kesedaran tentang pentingnya untuk kita kenal badan kita dan juga kita mengamalkan gaya hidup sihat. supaya kita dapat menikmati kualiti hidup yang baik sebenarnya.
That's right.
At the end of the day, kadang-kadang health tu is wealth. Memang betul lah. Memang kalau banyak duit macam mana pun, ada rumah besar, ada banyak peralatan yang best yang kita boleh main. Kalau kita tak sihat, we cannot enjoy those things. Kita tak boleh. Even beribadah pun kita tak boleh. Kita akan struggle untuk beribadah juga. Lagi yang nak sujud ke, nak rokok semua pun tak boleh. Jadi topik kata satu cukup-cukup baik daripada Kevin sebenarnya untuk saya sebenarnya personally. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank you
you,
so
Kevin,
much.
too. And
Thank
reinforcing the
you.
message of suka hati aku. It's really up to
Suka
you.
hati kau lah nak buat macam mana pun. Asal kau sihat. Tu yang penting. Suka hati
You
kau
you
lah.
can kill a lot of conversation just by throwing that in. Suka hati kau lah.
Suka hati kau
Saves you
lah.
a lot of trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
Dia terpulang kan macam ouch ke tak kan? Ouch suka hati aku. Oh my god. Kan? Macam tu. Thank
But
you so much Kevin. Ben.
yeah, no,
Thank you
no,
guys.
thank you, Kevin. On behalf of Hannah and myself, you were great, very entertaining. That's what I love about you, and you're a great friend. And look, if you ever have any more great stories to tell about, because I mean, the genre that you are in is never boring. Is never boring. It never gets old because everybody does get old, and when they do get old, they unfortunately they start to, like you said, they start to worry about it, and then sometimes it's not too late, but a lot of more hard work. So anytime you want to tell good health stories, please come on board. Just give me a WhatsApp, and we'll have you back on board on Great People TV. Yeah.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Happy
much.
New Year, man.
Happy New Year, guys. Thank you very
Happy New
much.
Year.
Bye.
Thank you Ben. Bye. Thank you Ben pula.
Ben.
Thank you Kevin. Aduh lahai. Anyway, it was a very, very enlightening session with Kevin Zahri. I mean, I for once memang currently I will admit that I pun tengah struggle juga with my dieting plans and whatnot. So yeah, insyaAllah lah hopefully kalau kita ada session dengan Kevin ke apa, just pray that for 2022 saya punya azam tu akan hit the goal gitu.
Hey, now make sure you sign up on 15th Jan. Okay, his courses are really, really good. So make sure you get
Okay,
there. Okay.
insyaAllah.
He
InsyaAllah.
offered you, so you must go. So,
Yeah.
but look, before we go, everyone, thank you, Kevin, once again. But before we go, we have a quiz question for you. That's right. And then you've got to answer. Name one weight loss tip that Kevin mentioned today. Nah.
Namakan satu tip untuk mengurangkan berat badan yang telah pun diberitahu oleh Kevin sebentar tadi. Apa satu tip dia?
Yeah. I'll give you some tips.
Banyak sebenarnya tip.
Yeah, it's up to you. Educated guess, looking at the balance, looking at your lifestyle. Look, anything that you picked up from Kevin's interview, because he covered he covered so much. Just put it in the comments field, and then once we see you, we will say to you, congratulations, Ong, Chin, An, or Mutu that you won, or Ahmad, and then we'll send you a message. I will send you a message to say, please share your contact number and your address. Nah.
So be sure to check your DM dan pastikan anda sentiasa tengok kalau kita hantarkan message pada anda kerana anda mungkinlah pemenang daripada session kita pada hari ini dan anda layak untuk mendapatkan hadiah daripada AQ Answer.
That's right. So stick around. Okay. And stand a chance to win that AQ Answer ISO 4-in-1 multifunctional blood glucose meter by just answering the question. It is very, very senang. It is very, very easy. But now, last episode, we forgot to wish all our viewers who celebrate Christmas a Merry Christmas. So to all our viewers who celebrate Christmas, a belated Merry Christmas. But we want to wish everybody a happy 2022. Inshallah, it will be much, much better than these last 2 years, which have been extremely challenging, kan?
Betul. Dan harapnya 2022 ni akan memberikan lebih banyak sinar dan juga harapan yang baik-baik untuk kita semua. Dan yelah sama-sama kita strive sebab hidup ini adalah satu perjuangan. Hidup ni bukanlah saya saja macam yang Kevin cakap tadi, dia bukanlah boring macam dia mendata je. Dia ada geloranya dan kita kena nikmatilah gelora ups and downs tu, nikmati aja.
That's right. Well said, Nas.
Alright.
Have a great New Year, everybody. Be safe, and we will catch you on the next episode of Great People TV next week. We will continue. Thank you for your support, and inshallah, everything will get better and better, and we will always be here to, inshallah, entertain you with great content from great people. Assalamualaikum, and take care.
Bye.